Okay, Steve, we're back. Yani, you've left us as a cliffhanger. So, you told us how you met Eve Kirago. You guys sang on stage. And then she was from this church called Crisco. And then she introduced you to this group called VUC. And you met a guy called Chris Adwar.
Yes. So,
the famous Chris
Adwar.
The
famous Chris Adwar. So, Chris, by this time, was those guys from Patch who could play an instrument like precisely. He was not like me, who used to just chance with trying to make a song. Yeah, Chris was trained. Chris knew how to write a song. He understood arrangement. He basically was a musician.
Most of the piano that I knew around that time, I learned it during that holiday tuition. So when I finished high school, when I finished Form 4 in 1996, I knew I was going to get into professional music. And in 1997, I started working with a choir from Crisco. Now, this choir was called Heavenly Voices, and it was set up by John Das and a lady called Eve Kirago. So I played piano and sort of co-directed music for a little while, and then Eve went to the States, and the choir sort of seemed like now it was going to collapse. Everyone was asking what's going to happen. So these guys wanted to do a concert, and because I was a Kimbele pianist, I used to play everywhere. So this guy came to me and said, hey, I like the way you play. Would you mind coming to play for Fortress Choir? And at that time, those guys were really into Fred Hammond stuff. So that music was conk for anybody. But then for Chris Adwar, I could play it a little bit. You know, I played that music badly, guy. Nimetafuta milima mabonde nisikupata mwingine. 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 Jehova ndiye mfalme. Jehova ni namba moja. Jehova ndiye mfalme. Jehova ni namba moja.
Chris was trained. Chris knew how to write a song. He understood arrangement. He basically was a musician already by this time.
What year is this?
This is 97 now.
It was still 97.
Was it 97? 97 is when almost everything happened, man, let me tell you. So I met this guy, and then by this time, the biggest objective for anybody who was trying to be in music was to have access to a keyboard. Yeah, that was the biggest problem. Yeah, because nobody had them. Now, Chris...
PSR 520.
Chris had access to their church keyboard.
Wow.
A KOG T3. I remember that keyboard so well. It even had one key which was broken halfway. And we loved that keyboard, because now KOG T3 finally is bringing us to Jodeci. So
the quest is to get to Jodeci.
Yes. So now KOG T3 finally is bringing us closer and closer to the truth that we want. Yeah. And I remember church, with church regulations and everything, keyboard after the service is put in a metal box, it's taken to a store, it's fungwad, the keys are taken to the church office, and that was the mtindo. Yeah. But of course, as usual, we were persistent and we wanted to play the keyboard. So again, what do? We again make friends with the guys in charge of putting the keyboard in the metal box. Yeah. And we make friends with them, and once again, this time, we're not being locked in the afternoon. We're not being locked in overnight.
Oh.
In the church.
What?
Yes.
So where is this church, first of all?
This is Crisco Uko Kibera. Yeah?
Oh.
So Crisco, there's the Crisco church and whatnot, then there's the Crisco office and whatnot, yeah? So the deal is this, You've eaten your dinner, Cindy. You've sorted yourself out, the door will be opened for you, the keyboard will be availed, and the door will be locked.
You'll be locked inside.
From around 7. And it was okay. We had no problem with that. We did that with Chris many times, many nights. We'd be locked in, and Chris was a whole lot better than me at playing keys and at arranging music and whatnot. So me, I was there to just figure it out, basically. Yeah.
Yani, let me understand this.
Yeah.
Guys don't understand the work people have put in. You're telling me you guys would eat food, go to the church at 6:30, whatever.
Yes.
At 7 o'clock,
We're locked inside.
they lock you in overnight. And all you guys are doing at that time
is playing
keyboard.
Yes.
Fighting for that dream.
Yes.
The quest to get to Jodeci.
Exactly.
This is insane.
And it was fun.
Yeah, I know.
We totally loved it. It was the best thing I could do overnight. Yeah. And so from this point, we're getting closer, because now I'm getting more exposed to how the process happens.
So what were you doing? What were you learning at this time? Could that keyboard
could sequence.
It could sequence. So it could create beats and
you could make a beat and store the beat and keep the song and even put it on a diskette or whatever it is.
That tip, whatever.
Yes. So by this time we're getting closer. We're learning more. Yeah. So Chris, Voices United Choir, Crisco Church and whatnot. He was working there and he was part of the choir leaders and whatnot. So me, I'm just learning off him all this time, yeah. And at this same time, another group of some two boys from a church called Lavington Church is emerging.
This world is a dot.
There's some two boys emerging, and these two boys were called Born Twice. Yeah. These two boys, by this time, we hear of some guys. I remember there's one of those Ted Josiah fun restaurant concerts. There's a song that played and it was called Jump, like that. But the track was so good, It sounded Timberland. It was just something that we had never heard in Kenya before. Then I'm told there's some two boys who produced this song, yeah, and they go to Lavington Church and they're in high school. Then later on, as time goes by, I realize one of them is innovator today,
Tim Rimbui,
and the other is Dr. Rekebisha,
Julian
Masharia. So these guys are uko in another place altogether doing like a thing, pole pole, yeah. On the other side of South B, there's a Ted Josiah doing their thing uko, and then us guys, rap community, were all over the place. So basically, a movement that is able to produce music is beginning to spring up in Nairobi.
1997.
Yes. Now finally, there is a wave of people who are now able to understand how to actually make a track. So now there's no longer the reliance on getting instrumentals from a DJ who has gotten the instrumental off a vinyl record. Now finally, we're starting to understand how this keyboard thing and this mini studio setup thing is beginning to work. Yeah. So Chris Izuko, we're fiddling around with this keyboard. There's other guys somewhere else trying to do this, trying to do that. Yeah. So by this time, the whole thing is beginning to come together. The same year, those same Jimmy Gattu shows are still running. So
Astrat, yes. Jamadelic, Rapem.
So there's two songs that now take me again one more step up the Kalada, yeah, the Kajodesi ladder where I'm trying to go. So there was a song by Dr. Dre on an album called The Farm. This was 1997. Tupac had just been shot. Notorious B.I.G. had just been shot. There was chaos in America.
Nas, Foxy Brown,
and Nature and Eze. So The Farm. An album comes out called The Farm. Yeah, produced by Dr. Dre, Trackmasters, and a few other guys. And there was a song called Farm Fiasco. Yeah, Farm Fiasco came out, and it just completely messed me up. I always tell anybody who asks me, what is the one song that inspired you to become a producer? It's the Farm Fiasco. Because now this became the song of songs. It became the blueprint. It became the holy grail of everything that I ever wanted to do in a career as a producer. Because to date, it's still a song which I think is one of the greatest tracks ever produced for hip hop. And so this album came out with
I
Farm
wish Dr.
Fiasco.
Dre sees this interview.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Dre says that was one of his flop albums.
Yes.
The Farm.
Yes.
That group was one of his flops after leaving Death Row.
Yes.
But it inspired a producer who's in Kenya named
Exactly.
Steve Ominde.
And I listened to Farm Fiasco and I just couldn't get over it. And Jimmy Gath was playing the video on TV, and somebody gives me the CD to listen to, and that just becomes the turning point. Now, at this point, I'm starting to think of America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think of how do I get to this place called America. Yeah.
Has your brother already left?
By this time, my brother is already there. My sister is also there. So I'm in Kenya alone. Yeah. Not really doing anything productive per se. Yeah. And my parents are giving me pressure. You want to go to university? What are you doing? What not? You know, when are you gonna get to do something that's gonna make sense? You know. So me, I'm Muko, you know, working at 9 p.m., work out at 9 a.m. and they're tired and whatnot, you know. So by this time, the idea of going to the States is starting to make sense to me. But then at that time, Kenya was so good. I really wasn't like 100% into the whole idea. Until something happens. One Thursday was the day Jimmy Gath used to play R&B. Yeah. One Thursday, Jimmy Gath plays R&B.
Jamadelic now.
Jamadelic. There's a soundtrack for a cartoon called Space Jam that had just come out at this time. And Space Jam had a video by an artist called R. Kelly called I Believe I Can Fly. And that's what took me to America. It's that video. It's that video that made me make the decision that I need to pack, I need to go to US. It was that video. Because this video was directed by the top director at that time in America for music videos, Hype Williams. R. Kelly was
Hype
the
Williams
top.
did?
Yeah, he's the good dude, I Believe I Can Fly. R. Kelly was the top artist pretty much in R&B. At that time, he was like Billboard #1 all the time. And this was like, you know, the way people watch the movie Titanic and then they say there's perfect everything in Titanic, perfect sound design, perfect visual effects, perfect acting, perfect set, perfect everything. Now this became the perfect everything for me in music. Yeah, because I Believe I Can Fly video was immaculate. Yeah, the writing of the song, the choir that comes in, the everything. It was like, go now, like this is it, you know, like
Fly.
Yeah, we're done. Like we need to move. Yeah, and after this, that was it. I left for the US by the end of '97.